Hello everybody, I am Daxon Islander, and this video is going to be about supporting the troops. Let me ask you a question for the majority of you who say, support the troops. How do you support the troops exactly? I was on Yahoo and there was a story posted about the quote-unquote other 1%, 1% of the American citizenry who are in the military. And there are a lot of mixed comments in the top section. One is from a bunch of people saying things like support the troops, thank you for your service. What I'm looking at right now is, quote, tell all, to all vets, past, present, and future, thank you for your service, unquote. Then there's one right below it that reads, please take a moment to read this. As an Army veteran, yeah, I have bad eyesight, well, when I'm using both. As an Army veteran who was serving in Iraq during the 2004 presidential election, there is one thing that bothered me when I got home more than anything. It isn't that 99% who haven't served try not to pay attention to the wars and casualties of them. It isn't that they complain about petty problems they experience in everyday lives. The thing that kills me more than anything is the fact that the majority of our country can't be inconvenienced enough to get an education. I'm not talking about college, I'm talking about the fact that the majority of Americans couldn't tell you what the three branches of our government are. Can you? Legislative, judicial, and executive. I'm talking about the fact that most Americans couldn't even tell you the difference between each presidential candidate on any one of their policies. One, just one. You see, while I was serving, I was supposed to receive an absentee ballot to vote, for the first time in my life, for our president. I never received that ballot. Now it doesn't matter who I would have voted for, or who did would have voted, or who you did/would have voted for. The point is that I can't do the most basic and important thing anyone in a democratic republic can and should do. You can. And what's worse is that while so many of you can, you shouldn't. That's right, you shouldn't vote because you're too bleeping, I think, fucking lazy to learn about the potential leaders of our country. Then I don't want you to vote for one. I wouldn't hand someone a gun at a shooting range and tell them to shoot without the person understanding what they're shooting at. I wouldn't just say, here, just shoot. Doesn't matter where, as long as you shoot. Likewise, you shouldn't be part of a process choosing your country's leaders if you don't know who/what you're voting for. So many of you should be so very ashamed of yourselves. As someone who has risked his life and watched as several of my buddies have lost theirs serving in the military of our country, I didn't say fighting for, to be clear. I know some of you can't help but make that distinction. I ask only that you learn a little bit about what is and what could be going on in our country, and who is trying to lead it and what they believe in, unquote. So, the soldiers are thinking a little bit differently of us than we're thinking of them. Well, us as civilians. But I wrote a comment on here, and it was basically in the pertinence of, I'm sorry. As, as a civilian of the United States of America, I am truly sorry. I was one of those people who, like these, spouted on a continuous basis, support our troops, support our troops. Until one day a vet pulled me aside and smacked me upside my head and asked me, what did I do to support him? I did nothing. I defended the soldiers in a few heated debates that really didn't call for it. That's about it. So let me ask you, America, to the majority of you who say support our troops, what is it you do to support them? Do you listen to them? I do. I've seen what the majority of our troops have to say. Ron Paul 2012. Not only because the troops support him, but because I support Ron Paul's views as well. But that Ron Paul and most of politics aside, they're talking. 1 in 3 veterans in the United States is homeless. You're going to sit there and spout support our troops when 1/3 of our veterans are homeless? But anyway, to the U.S. military, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the American people are not willing to fight for your benefits, 75% of which are talking about being cut. I don't see any protests about it. I don't see any protests about the suicide rate elevating. I'm sorry that we will sit here and swing the American military dick around to any person on the internet who would dare say that we are stupid. I'm sorry that we don't take you into consideration, you and your opinions. I'm sorry that the American people will stand by, only throw a bitch fit, and then pretend it didn't happen when multiple soldiers' bodies are found in landfills. I'm sorry that, well, I'm sorry the U.S. citizenry pretends to care. I'm sorry that we'll sit here and spew out, support the troops, support the troops, support the troops, and do nothing to support you. The majority of the people who say that thinks sticking a yellow ribbon magnet on their car, donating $5 to charity a week, they think that's supporting the troops, which all in all is pretty sad to me. I mean, honestly, I am absolutely 100% sure 98% of the people on this comment post giving praise would not go up to bat for the soldiers. They would not be inconvenienced to take 5 minutes out of their daily lives, 5 minutes, to go out in front of a government building, a relevant government building, and say, do not cut the soldiers' benefits. 98% of the people who say support our troops would not take 5 minutes out of their day. I am thoroughly 100% sure of that. I'm not saying this about veterans. I am more than certain the veterans do support our troops because they're part of our troops. I'm talking about 98% of the civilians would not fight for your benefits. That is what I am sorry for. And if more than anything else, I'm sorry that I was one of those people. But in Colorado Springs, I'm going to be looking it up. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the government's office or maybe protest in Denver to the state capitol. But I'm trying to, goddamn, I want to make a protest to the state capitol to protect soldiers' benefits. I know it's government benefits, and I know I'm a libertarian and a Ron Paul supporter, but they were promised those benefits. They fought and died. I think they should get what they were told they would get, and not put red tape around them and just pretend they don't exist anymore and try to sweep the veterans under the rug. So if there's anybody who truly wants to support the veterans, let me know. Damn it, I gotta put a Facebook link. Oh well, I'll create an event, and sometime later I'll put the Facebook page below it. Alright, I'm Jackson Hound, everybody. I am sorry. Have a nice day.